exciting. Obviously, we're here to talk about National General's new e-application. With the new year, like everything else, there's a lot of changes, a lot of exciting changes. Even with like contact information, they have new places to check business, all this good stuff. But today we're specifically going to talk about the e-application and the website that hosts that e-application. So really excited about that. My name is Sadie Frazier. I am a training and education specialist here at Senior Marketing Specialist, and I am by no means an expert on all this new fun stuff. So we brought in the expert. He is the Regional Sales Director. This is Andy Larson. Andy, we're happy to be partnering with you again.
Yeah, absolutely. And, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone listening or watching the recording. Thank you for doing business with National General. Our success is predicated upon yours. So we had a great year last year, and we look forward to a new year here in 2021. But I'll get started here then, Sadie. And for sake of presentation here, as Sadie said, my name is Andy Larson. Some of you may be familiar with me in terms of my role or some previous presentations that we've done, or we've spoken over the phone on certain things. I run a team here for under 65 and over 65 individual products at National General, and we're here to serve you. So today we're going to give you an update on some things that have been changing here with National General. We have a transition all of our administration in-house from our third-party administrator. We'll talk about what that means here today. Before we get into the EnrollNat Gen platform that is part of that transition, we'll share some resources for you in terms of what of some go-to materials to help guide you along the way, or some reference points or whatnot for self-learning. Ultimately, you can contact our teams. And then we'll do a demo of the enrollment platform. And then lastly, once we're all done here, I'm going to be sending out some information to Sadie, and she'll be able to share with you some information as far as guides and how-to flyers and just general information on this transition and this site. So as far as the administration transition is going, we started that the first of the year. And just like any transition of that magnitude, we had a hard stop of January 1 with our old TPA triad. And we've been working feverishly to keep up on end of the year business, as well as pick up where they left off on business that they might have started. We had some issue with our EApp not being online day one. So that first week we started all paper app. We are online in 21 states with our EApp today. We'll be launching another 17 tomorrow. So we're making progress on this. But at the end of the day, what the goal with the administration transition is that we're going to have our own internal underwriters and service. So it allows you easier access to find out about your policies that are in process. But it's also going to turn around quicker reporting, quicker access to commissions, so there's no delays in file feeds. So if we miss the end of the month, you won't have to wait for the following month to get paid. So therefore, if with the speed of the process or the transaction, our goal is to make that a better experience for the agent, and ultimately a better experience for your customer. But with any transition, there are going to be some wrinkles. We are going through some of those. We're getting your feedback. We're learning from it. So we do appreciate your patience as I equate this as we're moving. We've moved. We haven't unpacked all of our boxes, but all of our guests are arrived. So we're missing some things, and maybe not missing anything, but we just need to find what box it's in and make sure that we take it out and present it in a nice fashion and give it back to you as you sent it into us. So with that, I do appreciate your patience and your continued support of National General. We're going to get through this here. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel, but don't hesitate to lean on me and my teams for additional service or information on policies you have in process. All right, so EnrollNat Gen. EnrollNat Gen is our new EApp. EnrollNatGen.com is the website for EnrollNat Gen, and this is a really intuitive site that I think you're going to find is going to be more streamlined. provide more real-time updates or provide a real-time underwriting decision because of that streamlined application process, especially for your underwritten business. For anniversary roll business, it's going to have the logic built in to just you click anniversary, and then it brings that logic with it in terms of all the rules that come with the anniversary business. To access enrollnatgen.com, the username and password is going to be the same as your agent back office. With the agent back office, you received a welcome letter. When you were first contracted with National General, you received a welcome letter, and one of the pieces of instruction was to set up your agent back office. So if you set up your agent back office, it's going to be the same username and password for EnrollNatGen. If you set up your agent back office, but you have forgotten your password, simply click the forgot password to reset it, and then you'll be in once you've reset that password. Now, there are many agents that may have not even set their agent back office up altogether, went straight to the EApp or went straight to finding paper applications or whatever your method of submission is, and you haven't set it up altogether. If you haven't set that up, there's a number that you can call that you see on the screen here. Well, we will resend that welcome letter. But if you also too within National General or within SMS, they will be, we both have internally in our contracting systems with National General the ability to send that welcome letter out to you. We had a team call yesterday with SMS, and they were able to figure out how to get to that welcome letter. So both National General and SMS are familiar with how to regenerate that welcome letter. So if you don't have your agent back office set up, that would be the pathway to get that done. And once you have that set up, you'll be able to access not only your agent back office, but EnrollNatGen. And the one nice part about EnrollNatGen is that as you submit an electronic application, the client and the status will immediately funnel into the agent back office. We do about 4 uploads a day into the agent back office on all of our under and over 65 business. So when you submit that e-application through EnrollNatGen, within a couple of hours or within the hour, you will see that business in your agent back office and will give you a status. In the agent back office, you are also going to be able to see your paid through date, when the next billing date is going to be, how much that premium is going to be, and you should see transaction status as well in terms of what your client has already paid up to that point. So the agent back office is a great tool for you to be able to search for that business and view it, all the contact information for your client and all that comes with it. You're able to export reports out of there as well. So if you need additional training on agent back office, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we can get that squared away for you. As far as paper apps are concerned, if you are doing some e-app, some paper app, you will have the ability to once that e-app has been entered into our systems, that e-app will also show as show in your agent back office as well. How this is faster than what we were doing before? Well, before what we were doing was using a third-party administrator, and you weren't able to see in your agent back office what was going on with that policy until that check was received or until the money was applied and until Triad sent that feed over to National General. So the nice part about this is that as we get caught up here with this transition, your business is going to be able to be seen in your agent back office as soon as you hit the submit button or as that paper application is uploaded. We are still working through a backlog of some policies that were sent over by Triad around the first of the year that have not been uploaded to agent back office yet. So if you are missing a policy, just let us know, and we'll be sure to point you in the right direction on that. Now, as far as as we go into the demo here, the one thing to keep into account of is that with our signature options, we are no longer doing the mother's maiden name signature. That's a kick in the butt to a lot of us that might have utilized that very convenient feature. But what happened is that with regard to how our application is done, our script warehouse or Milliman deemed that the mother's maiden name had some security flaws in terms of that signature. So not only us, but every other vendor or every other carrier that they've been a vendor for on that front has also done away with mother's maiden name as well. So the signature options going forward are going to be an electronic option where your client gets an email, and from that email they are going to see a link. Click on the link, and then it's going to show their contact information. They'll confirm it, and then similar to DocuSign, it's not going to be DocuSign. They can review their application, and there's arrows that will guide them through where that electronic signature will be applied. And once they hit submit, then the policy is signed for. For those that don't have easy access to computers or ESignature, or they're not in your office or don't have a smartphone to do that signature, there is a voice option as well. The voice option does allow you to access to an 800 number with a 4-digit PIN, and that's going to verify the client that is enrolling. And then it's going to go through a series of disclaimers where at which point with you and your client on the line, you'll go through a prompt. It takes about 6.5 minutes. We've heard some feedback that the volume is a little low right now on that, but we've taken that feedback back to the teams to ensure that might be a little bit easier to hear. But nonetheless, if your client does have that limitation in terms of technology or ability to do the e-signature, that voice signature is going to be super simple for you to utilize as well. As far as contacts are concerned, one of the things with this transition as well is we have updated all your clients' ID cards with all the contact information that is pertinent to their ID. And with that, we've already sent out ID cards to all existing clients with the updates, so therefore they should be taken care of on that front. You won't have to do anything from that standpoint. The other piece to the ID cards, though, and tying back to the agent back office, is that in your agent back office, you are also able to download a temporary ID card for your client. So if you are in there and you see a client that you're looking for, and you're going to see a big blue box in the middle that says ID card, and you click on that, and it will pull up your client's temporary ID card for which you can download and send to them or print it out for them, and they can utilize that ID card until they receive their physical card in the mail. So another great feature of the agent back office if you're not taking advantage of that today. All right, so now I want to switch gears here and go into the demo portion of everything. We're going to go into, first of all, the agent back office. So this is your agent back office. For sake of logging in, you're going to, again, use the same username and password as your for ENG as you are for agent back office, what we call ABO. So for this is your agent back office. You're going to have pertinent links. There's going to be some documents on this side here, as you see, but with the ABO on the document side, a lot of this refers to the under 65. There's a MyNatGen member portal guide that your client can utilize to utilize their own member portal. There's a product guide that just gives you general information about how to administer National General products, and then a product grid for all of our under and over 65 products. But if I'm you sitting in your chair, I'm looking at policies. So I click on the policies button, and one of the things we get is, well, Andy, none of my policies show up. Why is that? Well, the reason is that because you have to put in a filter. So you can either search by client name. I find it's easiest to search by the client's name if you put in the correct spelling. Or you can search by creator start date, or you can do a search by product category, so all the different products that National General offers. Or if you want to see see just all of your clients pulled up, you simply click the apply button, and that'll bring up all the clients that you have on the books for all date ranges. So therefore, from the day you started writing business with National General, all your clients will populate in this box here as you hit apply. And then you can also download it again out of the corner of here for getting these reports for any a CRM or any sort of internal tracking that you might do on your own. So EnrollNatGen, we skipped the login page here, but when you same credentials as the agent back office, and ideally what we're shooting for here as one of the next phases is that your agent back office is going to be your agent hub, and then off of this home screen there might be a button up here. There's going to be a button in here that's going to say med sup quote, or it's going to say short-term medical quote if you're writing under 65 with us. So keep the agent back office as part of your focal point here, because not only can you view business today, but as we phase through all of our systems in the next few months, we are going to be implementing buttons here to connect to EnrollNet Gen. So this is really the experience that you will see in future phases. So when you land at EnrollNet Gen, you're going to land on a quick quote page. But before we go into the quote, a couple things to note. Up in the right-hand corner, you're going to see your agent number and your ability to log out. Also, too, you're going to see under Contact and Materials, you'll see a Contact Us button that will provide you with customer service, claims, underwriting. These are all the new numbers that point to National General's administration. In the under here, you can download the underwriting guide. And again, on page 3 of the underwriting guide, you'll have all of the contacts here that you'll be able to find. And then under downloads, you'll be able to download the Medicare and You document, the guide to Medicare, and then also for any state-specific brochures or applications, you just click on the drop down for Missouri. You'll find the application packet, brochure, the OOC, rate sheets, and privacy notices. So any of this you can download for a client if you need it, or you have you want to bring up a brochure as you're speaking to your client, you can do so, and or outline a coverage. Therefore, you can utilize the electronic experience, but also have access to those materials as well at your fingertips within this system. So a lot of similarities between this and the old system in terms of the contacts and underwriting and whatnot. But when you look at just more of the simplicity, the sleekness of it, you go when you land on the home page, you go straight into the quote. But then when you run a quote and get into an application, if you click on applications, you're going to find all your applications in this section under applications. So these are all test applications that we've created in this test environment. But you'll see here that with the drop down, there's going to be a status for either any status, application that's been created, it's been submitted, pending signature, voice signature, queued for submission, or if it's in the submission processing portion. So from this aspect here, if you were to say you're in a app that has been pending or has been created, you can click on that application and it'll give you the opportunity to resume that application. I'll show you here in a minute how that will work, but let's get into a quote. So first question is going to be, were they eligible prior to MACRA? So for a lot of you that are doing anniversary business, many of your clients will be. And then we add in a zip code here. Sadie, can I ask you for a zip code here real quick, or can someone put in the chat feature a quick zip code? I'm unprepared with that. I'll try to find one here myself, but
yeah, no problem. 65203. That's Columbia's here.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So enter the zip code just as normal. Put in a birth date, effective date. We can still do next day effective dates, but for sake of the demonstration, do 1st of February. We'll do female, or we'll do a male rate here. You see here, as I put in the male, we have the minimum demographics needed to get a rate. Okay, so when you look at putting in the MACRA eligible, if the client was MACRA eligible, Plan F will populate. If you click no to this button, then only Plan A, G, and N will populate. But because the client was eligible, we're finding the Plan F is going to be intelligently put into the system based upon the returns that you put in these fields. Now, under enrollment type, there's going to be a drop down here. So where we're finding this too is that In the past, there might have been some confusion. Well, is it anniversary rule? Is it open enrollment? Is it GI? What's it going to be there? So we added for states where there is a rule like Missouri, so California and Oregon as well. We've added a drop down, so we are going to put anniversary rule to apply. So now in the anniversary rule, all the rules that are part of that are intelligently built in as you put in any sort of rates, discounts, etc. So with the preferred rates and discounts, if you're looking at the household discount aspect of it, and if you're looking at a market outside of Missouri, if you click on this more button, it will always tell you what that household discount rule is in that particular market. For example, Illinois might have I believe they have a different household discount than what we have as a standard in most markets. The Illinois zip code will populate the household discount rule underneath this more button to give you what that exactly will be. So if we've been working with us, you understand the household discount rule. It's going to ask for tobacco. So we have our plans populated here. Height and weight, so that's for underwritten business typically, but we're going to just put it in here anyhow. Okay, so now we have our demographics. So just this simple page is going to give us our rates. Now, if we look at the different plan options here, let's just say we wanted to go with Plan F. We're going to click on Plan F, and then we're going to go to apply for Plan F, and now it's creating our application. Put in our eligibility. And then we have our simple yes or no questions as far as the Part B, last 6 months to turning 65, guarantee issue period, guide to Medicare, outline of coverage provided to the client, you click yes. Now let's just say you were to select yes to any of these questions, it's going to provide you with additional questions to go along with it. So it's going to bring up the additional question based upon that answer. If you were to check no, based upon the practices and enrollment guidelines, procedures, unable to approve the application because the outline of coverage was not provided. Now from here, you can download the outline of coverage, privacy notices, guide to health insurance for people with Medicare, and send that to your clients from here. So you want to look at the outline of coverage. It'll download for you, and you can send that off to your client. So this is the anniversary rule piece. So normally what we're going to do here with the anniversary rule, or with the underwritten business, excuse me, is you're going to see the health questions here first. As you see on your tab on the side here, you'll have all the different steps in the process. But before Medicare and insurance, you're going to actually have the medical questions that are going to populate first. And we'll go into that here in another quick demo. We'll get through this first, and then we'll show you the questions. But with the how we have it set up and where the questions lie, is we want to make sure that that client gets through, because if they answer adversely to one of those questions, we're going to let you know on the spot that your client doesn't qualify based on how that question was answered. It's going to be yes or no, similar to what you see right here, but it's going to save you some time and effort for more or less purposes on that underwritten piece of business, that you're not going to submit the application and potentially wait 2 or 3 days before that application gets looked at, and therefore now you waited 3 days to find out your client doesn't qualify. How we set this up is that the intelligence and the logic is going to let you know on the spot, so you can move on to determine if there's another carrier that would fit best for your client. All right, so here we're going to just enter in the client's info. Social, we got the rates, and we got the underwriting on an underwritten plan without. All right. Missouri, USA, 123 Elm Street, Columbia. And that's already auto-populated on the state and zip code. Okay, and then mailing address, household, phone number, mobile, all this is pretty well self-explanatory from that standpoint. Tobacco question, drop down here, past week, 3 months, 12 months, never. Okay, that'll update. We put in, I think we put 6 foot on the application. Then it will ask you if you'd like to receive communications from National General electronically or by mail. If you, a lot of times you'll see that on the back end once somebody signs up, they'll have an email will come out or a pop-up will come out if you log into the carrier, or you have to opt in. Here allows you to opt in from that standpoint. So if you go electronically, it's going to set you up electronically. If you put in the email address, or by mail, it'll send it to that mailing address. All right, so from that standpoint, now you go into billing. So right here where it has the billing, it's going to review that plan F that we selected, application fee, what that monthly premium will be, what the initial draft will be. Now here though, if you're reviewing with the client and they say, well, maybe I want to look at plan G, you can select that plan G right here, and that'll auto-populate what that plan will be. Household discount clarification. So if it's a legal spouse that's been living in there, so test spouse, residential address for billing, payment frequency can be done monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annual on an electronic basis through the EApp. If you're looking to send in a physical check, recommended that you go through the paper process, which the paper process is a fillable PDF. So from that standpoint, most times than not, if they're doing a quarterly or annual, a quarterly or annual bill, they're going to be sending you a check. More times than not, they might already have that money in their account on that to be able to do that ACH. So those are the payment methods that are available from that standpoint. So similar information, routing number, bank account. Is it a checking, savings? Click next. Additional comments here, and this is where for anniversary rule business, that proof of prior coverage, this is where it might be a new convenience factor for you. Now you can simply drag and drop a file to this site with that verification of proof of prior coverage. So if you have a PDF or a Word document that you've scanned in for that proof of prior coverage, you can simply drop it into this box now, and you're not going to have to deal with any additional emails to send to National General, or any sort of faxes, or any sort of sending it in the mail. You have it already successfully uploaded from this particular section right here. Now you'll notice here on the side, we've gone through a couple different screens, but we've seen some orange arrows. That just tells you that you haven't completed everything. So until we complete a green checkbox on all of these sections, it'll allow you to bounce around, but it won't let you submit until until each section has a green check mark. Let's see here, agent statement. Here's where you're going to add your agent statement. The different questions here that come about that. Type of sale, was it telephone, in person, internet, mail, or other? And then just a basic, anyone assist? Did you review the application? Yada, yada, yada. And then you check that you have included all that. Health authorization, so your HIPAA compliance basically says you've read and understand. Date of birth, description of personal representatives or authority relationship if applicable. Guaranteed issue question, so here's your guarantee issue eligibility. There's the following definitions of categories of individuals who are eligible for guarantee issue. So as you read through these, you'll come to find that as you scroll down the bottom, individual terminates Medicare supplement coverage within 30 days of the annual policy anniversary. There you go for anniversary rule. Acknowledgements and agreements, the disclosures here, and then applicant and producer acknowledgement. And here's where you get to select how you're going to do that application. So the application, the voice signature and the e-signature are going to be available. And this is where if you select ESignature, that's going to send an email to that to that client. Once you hit the submit button under the voice signature, once you hit the submit button, then that will pop up that 800 number with that 4-digit code, and then you and your client will do a call to that voice signature line, do the verification, and then from there your client will just go through the prompts, and once that's complete, then the submission will be added to the system. And not only this system here, now we'll go into our applications and we'll see Andy Test. So we see that it's created, but we didn't green check mark all the sections, so we have to go back in and resume. So it's going to resume or pick up where we left off, and we can go to each of these sections to get back to where we left off and where we saved. Go back to the home screen, applications. Now let's just say for a minute here that we submitted that application, we got through the e-signature, we got through the voice verification. Within the at the top of the hour, you should be able to go back into your policies and see or search for that client within the system here, and it will show what that status will be in your back office, as well as we get that upload on the hour every couple hours for the agent back office upload from ENG. So as you can see here, with regard to the process itself, very, very streamlined in terms of the interface, the logic and intelligence that's built in, but also just that real-time update for you, not only there, but in your back office. And as we get unburied with our paper applications, you will begin to see your paper applications in the back office, as well with the status updates to boot. So last thing I want to do here, before going to any additional questions, is just show you the underwritten piece to it. So 65203. Okay, so we're going to do. So maybe someone that might be maybe newly eligible. Or let's even just say. All right, so we're going to do next day effective date. We'll do female. We're going to do underwritten business. They were with their carrier for 6 months, and they decided that it wasn't a price point they can afford. You found a better price point with National General. So as you see here, we have the plans that are available with the non-macro eligible. So you have Plan A or G. So now we put in our height and weight. We put in. Okay, so now we look at the preferred rates. It's going to populate based upon that build chart that's intelligently built into the system, and also with this tobacco status. So we selected no, and we put in height and weight. If you look at the eligibility status, if we were to put tobacco, now that rate defaults to a tobacco rate. It went from the 138 to the 159 because it added in the tobacco rate. Now, if we were to put in a height and weight that it falls out of the build chart, that defaults to the standard rate as well. If we go back down to height and weight that fits into the build chart, now we're back to our preferred rate. So now we select that plan and apply. Now we're going to go into the health information. You see we have health and medication added where we didn't have that on the anniversary rule. So here are the questions now as we get into the health piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to have just a question at the top, and it's going to have a check a box. So for example, within the past one month, have you been diagnosed, been treated, or advised? If it says yes, it says we regret that your application, we will not be able to approve this application. Same here. If you select none of the above, you move on. Same with any of these other questions. Now, not all questions are going to be knockout, but if you do have an instance where you do have a excuse me, if you check any of these boxes, it will be a knockout. So you look at here, it'll show the X box right here, or the red X box. So as long as you click a none and above, so you see the red X, that'll pop up. Get into cancer, neurological disorders, autoimmune, other conditions that you'll find on the if you've looked at the paper application, you'll find here. Other things such as blood issues, epilepsy, colitis. Let's scroll through here. Medications, advised surgery, injections for any of the following. Physician name. And we finish that section. So now for medication purposes, if there's, with the medication, there's a list of about 200 drugs that are in here that are going to be, built into this system. So if you were, say your client's taking a blood pressure medication, or let's just say they're taking a medication for, it's not populating here, but in general, what's going to happen here, what you'll see here is that if your client's taking a medication, this is where you're going to type it in. And then are they still taking this medication? Yes or no, reason taken, frequency and dosage. That's going to be included in here as well. Then you can keep adding on the medications. But for the underwritten piece, when you go through these questions and then the medication, I apologize if the medication is not populating. That would have been a really nice feature to show you. On our YouTube channel, there is a demonstration that does show how this will work. So from that standpoint, take advantage of our YouTube channel as well to see how this would work on this particular function. But once you finish this health section, same as before, you'll go through all the Medicare part, the applicant, health authorization, acknowledgements and agreements, and then you'll go into the signature portion. And then once you hit submit, once your client does the e-signature or that voice signature, then it will funnel back into a status in the application that is going to see or show. Once you hit that submit button, if your client hasn't done the signature, it'll tell you if it's pending that signature or not. So maybe your client is, you said on the phone, send me the email, I'll do the e-signature tonight. The next morning, you can go in here and make sure that, for example, John Testa, South Dakota, you can see if it's pending client signature or if it says submitted pending review based upon where they are at in the process. But you can see if it still says pending signature, you can make a phone call out to John, South Dakota and say, hey, I noticed that you didn't do your signature. Can you get on that for us? Make sure this policy gets submitted in a timely fashion. And again, I think the big piece here is to understand the back office is a vital part of this as well, not only for being able to view business today, but for long term, as we make the back office your agent hub. And then you'll be able to access all of our systems here through the back office at a later time. So at this point, I'll open it up for any questions on the EApp itself and anything that you might have tripped over, or maybe we went too fast on, we want to go back on. See here the question, I think there's some questions have come in. Are you able to see those?
Yes, I do have a couple questions here. First, okay. Thank you so much, Andy. This is really cool. I do have to say, it is really cool seeing the intelligence that's involved with the applications now. That's the point, they make life easier. So it's really cool to see that. But we do have a couple questions here. We have someone asking, I didn't see where we can put preferred draft dates on the application. It auto-populates to the 1st. How can we change that date for future drafts?
For future drafts, what you can do is contact member services and request a future draft date for future. It's on the paper application. That will be automatically input if you're doing a paper app, but for the EApp, we don't have that built in today. So for future premium withdrawals, you can utilize our member services team to set that up for the date that your client chooses.
Awesome. And then we also have, are the policies going to the client or to us, the agents?
Let's see, let's get into an application here. Let's see. Sending it by mail will have it sent to the client. That might be a future enhancement on the EApp piece. On the paper app, you do have that option. I will confirm, Sadie, and when we send out the resources, we can have that question answered for everybody.
Perfect. Awesome. Let's see. If we change the date, will it still pull in advance if the date after the 10th is selected? I can repeat that if you need me to.
Yeah, yes, please.
Sure. If we change the date, will it still pull in advance if the date after the 10th is selected?
Yes, it'll always be a premium will always be in advance. So so let's just take, for example, and hopefully this answers the question. Let's say that it's a 2/1 effective date, and the client wants to have their first premium drafted on the 31st of January. Then we will draft that first premium the 31st of January. If the client wants that premium taken out on the 10th of each month, we will draft for the next month premium on the 10th of February for March. We never do billing in the arrears. It's always upfront, and I know that can be impactful for your client in terms of 2 payments within 2 weeks, if that's the cycle they want to get on. Otherwise, if you're doing the first draft right before the premium comes out, or before the day before the effective date, without changing the monthly cycle, then the monthly premiums will come out on the month anniversary date. So it would always be the first of the month that the premium would come out. So at that point, I guess it's just a conversation with your client to say, hey, we can change this date by calling member services, but are you going to be okay with that premium coming out on the 15th of February for the month of March? Once you get past that, then the cycle comes back online. So I hope that answers the question.
Perfect.
Let me know if not.
Yeah,
Okay.
Pam, if that didn't, you can go ahead and let us know if we need to clarify a little bit on that. Let's see. We have a question about the paper application. Can checks be faxed with paper applications?
The copy can. Our underwriters prefer that if you're going to send in a paper check, that you're going to send in the paper application with it. What happens with our teams that are receiving the paper applications, they're going to our service center in Cleveland, and when they receive it, they have an indexing department for all of our lines of business. So what they do is they index those applications there and also apply the check at the same time. But if you are sending a check physically but you're faxing in the application, then you're not doing a electronic fund transfer, I would just be real specific on the cover page on the fax and on the cover page with the check that you've already faxed in the application, so that way the application doesn't get entered in twice and that check doesn't get applied twice. So those that receive the fax are going to index that fax application in. But if you're sending in the check as well, then it's more convenient for them to do both at the same time, if you send in the paper app and the check. So, but if you're doing a fax app, if you're doing clients doing an electronic fund transfer for their premium, then by all means do the fax or the email, and that'll speed up the process.
Awesome. And then let's see. Current clients received forms to fill out with banking information. What is the purpose of that?
Current clients received a form to fill out banking information. Okay, that is news to me. I can find out, and I can have that part of the follow-up with materials.
Perfect. Awesome. We also have, are you able to save a PDF version of the e-applications?
Yes. So when you get to, it's when you submit the policy, when it's all set to go here. Let me see if we have a demo policy here. But I know that was one of the things that, so in our test environment, we don't have anything, let's see if we have anything issued. Okay, let's see here. One of the things, let's see. Once the policy is issued, or once you hit that submit button, it does allow you to print off the policy. So that was one of the things with the old EApp that wasn't able to be done, was to be able to print that off. I'll include since we are not able to demo it because I don't have full banking account information to get through that process, I'll include instructions on that with the follow-up as well.
Awesome. Okay. And then I have a question that I always like to ask with the applications because sometimes it makes a big difference. As far as web browsers go, I know that the last one worked best with Chrome, but it worked with everything. Is that the same for this? Is there a web browser that works best with this e-application?
We've had, I think this is all built through Chrome. So as far as that's concerned, Internet Explorer has worked as well. I do know that there were some agents that were experiencing an issue where they would log in and then the NatGen logo would just spin on them. By hitting the refresh button, clearing cache, that wasn't helping out. But there's Brittany found out a way to circumvent it somehow. We're in the process of, if you're experiencing that, we're in the process of trying to figure out why that is. Is it a pop-up blocker? Is it antivirus or any sort of bit defender that might be helping out? But in essence, I'm using Chrome, and I've had, from my end, I've been able to log in for those agents that have had that issue, where they don't get past the login page, they just get the NatGen logo. I've been able to log in with their credentials on my end. And I use Chrome, and it hasn't failed me. So, but I do know that Internet Explorer has worked as well if you're using like an Edge or something to that effect.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, Chrome seems to be kind of dominant these days. So yep. I just wanted to ask just in case. Nope. And also I do want to ask a clarifying question because I know that we feedback on this and whatnot. So as far as availability state-wise for this e-application, is it available everywhere? Is it live everywhere?
It's so I mentioned that we're in 21 states right now. So surrounding states would be, I believe, Illinois, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, I believe Iowa. We are launching another 17 states tomorrow, and then the last 4 that we're launching are just more states where they have nuances. So, for example, like Minnesota, where they're more of a they have a different setup as far as their supplements are concerned. It's more of like a basic plan plus riders versus G and F. So those states where there is more nuances are going to be last. But we'll include a list of states that are already that are going out tomorrow. And you should have received a communication as well. And part of what I'm sending you to post presentation will include the list of states that are on the EApp already, and then what I'll do is I'll include the states that we're going to be issuing out tomorrow.
Awesome. Alrighty, we have another question here. Where did you say all of the past applications can be found?
Under the, you mean as far as the applications with that were submitted prior to 1/1? if I were to, I'll just assume that just for
Yes.
sake of the question.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see those in your back office. So here in this particular system are going to be policies that National General has worked on from any new applications after 1/1. So your agent back office will show should show the status updates for anything that is sent in prior to 1/1 that was sent to us by Triad. So again, we're still working through some of those. If you do have some applications that you're not seeing in your back office, let us know. I think we should be up to date on all of those pending applications that are not fully up to speed in the back office by early next week. So if you do have a policy that is pending that you don't see or have a line of sight for, let us know. We do have the reports of everything that has been in, but it's just not everything is in the back office for you to see as of this time. So again, we're getting there. We do appreciate your patience on that, but we'll be sure to block and tackle for you as with anything that's pending. But ideally, yes, you're going to see it in your back office, and you're going to be able to see the status for all those clients there.
Awesome. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. If you do have any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in there. Thanks so much, Andy. This was awesome. This was super helpful. We will be sending out a follow-up email after this, at least within the next couple days. Hopefully later today, we'll just see, because we have lots of resources that we want to attach and lots of information that we want to send out with it, as well as a recording of our webinar today. So if you jumped in late, or if you had to jump out, or you just want to refer back to it, we'll have a recording of the webinar as well. So yeah, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Hopefully this answered a lot of questions for you. I know it answered a lot of questions that I had about it. So, and thank you so much, Andy.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll leave you with too. I filled a couple things here. One is our YouTube channel will have a 9-minute demo on this as well. So it'll go through the whole process and go through the quoting and then everything that we went through today as well. So be sure that that will allow you to go through the whole billing cycle and everything else. So take a look at that on your own if you have time. If you've watched all the Netflix you can over the last year and you're bored at 9 o'clock at night, you want to watch something new, go to our YouTube channel and you can watch this video.
Awesome, perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much, Andy. This was awesome.
Well, thank you for having me, and again, appreciate your patience with us through this, but we're excited and we believe that this is just going to help us take that next step to becoming the next premier carrier in the space. So that's our goal. We do appreciate your partnership in all this, helping us get there, and we're here to serve you, so let us know what you need.
Awesome. All righty. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.